My stepmother tried to erase me from my dad's will by falsifying documents. So, I took her to court, and now she's getting nothing. I'm a 32-year-old guy, and I never thought I'd be the type of person who had to take a family member to court. I mean, this is the kind of crap you see on those trashy daytime TV shows, right? But when your stepmother tries to erase you from your own father's will by forging documents, what the hell are you supposed to do? Just let it slide? No way. My dad passed away last year. Heart attack, out of nowhere. He was 63. We didn't have a perfect relationship, but it wasn't bad either. I'm his only biological kid, and while we weren't super close, I always assumed most of his estate would come to me when the time came. You know, that's just how it works. He'd been married to my stepmother, Em, for about a decade. She was... I don't even know how to describe her. Let's just say... she tolerated me because I was part of Dad's life. But there was always this weird tension. Like, no matter how hard I tried to get along, she had this thing where she'd make me feel like I was intruding. I let it slide, though. It wasn't worth the fight. She was Dad's choice, not mine. After Dad's funeral, I didn't even think about the will. I was grieving, you know? It wasn't like he had a massive fortune or anything, just the house, some savings, a couple of investments, stuff like that. I figured things would be split fairly. I wasn't expecting the whole estate or anything. I thought I'd get the house or a share of it, some savings, maybe a few personal things. I'd never given it much thought. So a few weeks after the funeral, Em called me over to talk about Dad's affairs. I didn't think anything of it at first, just figured it was something routine. She sat me down at her kitchen table, poured herself a glass of wine, and started with all this over-the-top sympathy crap. Oh, this has been so hard, you know. I'm just trying to pick up the pieces. Your dad meant so much to me, and blah blah blah. I didn't say much. I wasn't in the mood to pretend we were all in this together. After a while, she slid a folder across the table. "This is your father's will," she said, with this little sigh, like she was the real victim here. I opened it, and I swear to God my stomach dropped. It was like my name didn't even exist. Everything, every last thing was left to her. The house, the savings, everything. It was like Dad had completely forgotten he had a son. I stared at the paper, not really sure what I was looking at. "What the hell is this?" I asked, probably louder than I should have. She gave me this sweet little smile, like she was explaining something to a child. "Your father wanted to make sure I was taken care of. He knew you were doing well on your own, so he didn't feel the need to leave you anything." I looked up at her, trying to process what she was saying. "Are you kidding me? You really expect me to believe Dad would cut me out of his will? Completely?" She shrugged, all fake sympathy. "He just didn't want to burden you. You've got your life, and he wanted me to be secure." I could feel the anger bubbling up, but I kept it in check. "This is bullshit," I said flatly. "Dad had a will drawn up years ago. I know for a fact I'm in it. He wouldn't just cut me out like this. You forged this." Her smile faltered for just a second, but she recovered quickly. "I don't know what you're implying, but I'd be careful. Contesting a will is expensive. You don't want to waste your money chasing something that's already been decided." I stood up, grabbing the will. "I'm getting a lawyer. This isn't over." She didn't even flinch. "Go ahead, waste your time. You won't win." The next day I called Dad's lawyer. I didn't know him personally, but I knew Dad had his estate handled by a guy named Jay, and I found his contact info in Dad's desk. I called him up and explained the situation. He was surprised, to say the least. "Your father's will hasn't been updated in years," Jay said. "If there was a new will, I would have been notified." "Well, Em's claiming she has one, and I'm not in it," I said. Jay asked me to send him a copy of the will she gave me. He got back to me the next day, and I could hear the frustration in his voice. "This is a forgery," he said. "The signatures don't match, and it's missing key legal components. Your stepmother's trying to pull a fast one." I wasn't shocked, but hearing it confirmed made my blood boil. "What do we do?" "We take her to court," Jay said firmly. "This won't hold up. If we can prove she committed fraud, she'll get nothing." When Em found out I was taking her to court, she lost it. She started leaving me these angry, passive-aggressive voicemails like she was the one being wronged. "How could you do this to me? Your father would be ashamed of you. He trusted me, and now you're dragging his name through the mud." It was laughable, honestly. She was trying to guilt-trip me into dropping the lawsuit, but it wasn't going to work. I knew Dad, and I knew this wasn't what he wanted. But she didn't stop there. A few days later, I got a call from one of my cousins, saying Em had been going around to family members, trying to turn them against me. She told them that Dad cut me out of the will because I'd abandoned him in his last years. That I wasn't there when he needed me most, so he left everything to her. She even showed them the fake will, saying it was proof of Dad's decision. I was furious. This wasn't just about the money anymore, it was about my relationship with my father. She was trying to rewrite history to make me look like some ungrateful son who didn't deserve anything. But I wasn't going to let her get away with it. Then, as if that wasn't enough, I got a letter from her lawyer demanding that I pay half of the funeral expenses. She claimed that since I was Dad's son, it was my responsibility to contribute. I nearly laughed out loud. This woman, who had just tried to cut me out of everything, now wanted me to help pay for Dad's funeral? No way. I called my lawyer, Jay, and told him about the letter. "She's trying to bleed me dry," I said. "She's getting desperate," Jay replied. "Ignore it. Focus on the case. We've got her." The court date came quicker than I expected. By then, the family was split into two camps, those who believed Em's lies and thought I was being greedy, and those who knew the truth. The whole thing had become a mess, but I wasn't backing down. Em showed up to court with her lawyer, dressed like she was going to a funeral all over again. She had this whole act going, dabbing her eyes with a tissue, sniffling as she talked about how much she missed Dad. It was pathetic. She even tried to play the grieving widow card when she took the stand, saying how Dad had trusted her to handle everything and how she was just trying to honor his wishes. But her performance didn't last long. My lawyer laid everything out, the original will, Jay's testimony, the fact that the signatures didn't match. It didn't take long for the cracks to show. Then came the part I'd been waiting for. While I was going through Dad's papers a few weeks before, I found something interesting. It was a letter Dad had written a few years ago, basically complaining about Em's reckless spending. He didn't come right out and say he was going to change the will, but he did say that he was worried about leaving her in charge of everything because she had no concept of financial responsibility. When Jay presented that letter in court, Em's face went pale. Her lawyer tried to object, but it was too late. The judge had already seen enough. The forged will, the inconsistent signatures, the letter from Dad, it was all too much to ignore. The judge ruled in my favor. The will Em had presented was declared a forgery, and the original will was reinstated. But that wasn't all. Because of her attempt to defraud me, the judge decided that Em wouldn't get a damn thing. No house, no savings, no investments. She had tried to cut me out of my own father's legacy, and now she was walking away with nothing. I walked out of that courtroom feeling a mix of relief and exhaustion. I'd won, but at what cost? My relationship with my stepmother was obviously ruined, not that it had ever been great. Half the family wasn't speaking to me anymore, convinced that I'd somehow manipulated the situation for my own gain. It was a mess, but at least I had stood my ground. In the weeks that followed, Em tried to appeal the decision, but it didn't go anywhere. Her lies had finally caught up with her. She was left with nothing. No house, no savings, no investments. Her entitled attempts to manipulate Dad's will blew up in her face. As for the rest of the family, the truth started to come out. People realized that Em had been lying and manipulating the situation from the start. Some of the family who had sided with her came around and apologized, while others stayed distant, still convinced there had to be some truth to her lies. Honestly, I didn't care anymore. I had done what was right. I fought for my father's legacy, not just for me, but because I knew that's what Dad would have wanted. It wasn't about the money or the house. It was about making sure my father's last wishes were honored, not twisted into something unrecognizable by a woman he probably didn't even trust in the end. It was a hell of a fight, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't take a toll on me. But sometimes you have to stand up for yourself, even when it's messy. Even when it costs you. In the end, justice was served, and I could finally move forward. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking with me through this wild ride. And hey, If you ever find yourself dealing with a manipulative family member, just remember, you don't have to roll over and take it. Keep fighting. Oh, and maybe hit subscribe while you're at it, unless you want someone like M writing your will.